At last. So, in 10 minutes, the sun will be there for using. Oh, what a good idea to come back here for another day. 9 hours sleep last night. That's just... Actually, this is a kind of new mode for me. I have 2 or 3 nights I must always go to sleep. I drift off about 9, 10 at the latest. But I have 2 or 3 nights where I might wake up at 4 a.m. Sometimes even 3:30. And I might wake up and go, oh, that's not enough sleep. But then I get doing something, writing. I don't even like the word writing. Just finger jabbing on ralphschism.com. But living too, very important. Meandering, seeing if anything interesting happens in any encounter. It never really does. But there we go. Accept the list. Right, but here's the most important thing. I used to kind of like, okay, if I have a week of 2 or 3 nights of not 7.5 hours sleep, that's just horrid. You lose your true, I don't know, you lose your kind of, your solid ground, your foundation upon which to just deal with anything. Nothing gets to you ever. But then I've had 2 or 3 nights like that, and then one night of 9 hours sleep. You catch up. It's absolutely wonderful. Okay, there we go. Because I do know, I mean, all of this, mental health. It's sleep is at the foundation of all of it. And the science now says this. Right, quickly. Here's the most important thing now. I don't tell lies, just occasionally pondering. I never really used to think this at all. No, I used to think it, but it wasn't inside of me. I'd like to just get paid a bit to write a bit or something similar for the rest of life now. No point, I know, about 3 years ago, I knew no point aiming for my beloved existence in rural lands, doing a bit of fencing, a bit of small holding. No point. No woman in Britain ever values this anymore, which is tragic. And there were some that did 20 years ago. Anyway, I only mention this, so just like occasionally, like I know it's best not to look. I look at the statistics page, but rarely, every few weeks, look at the statistics page on my jottings. And to my huge surprise, as of a couple of months ago, 400 or 500 readers. Some days it says, I assume it's not lying, does not in any way affect anything positively. But just when I kind of like the last week or two, I've riffed in some really quite groovy, better things that just come. They don't, nothing's ever planned. I just sit there. I'm going off on all sorts of tangents, and quite groovy ways of putting things comes along. I know they're quite groovy. Anyway, looking up this morning, and I really am planning I was planning the following week. Right, okay, let's just try and roll something out into some way or other. I could get some kind of payment, because I got my MOT in 6 weeks and I can't afford it. I just like, that's not though the thinking. It's like, okay, I'd quite like to remain in this mode now. I kind of like it. It's okay. It's no good for 2 humans together. Anyway, but just when I'm categorically in the best mood ever and have written some good stuff, It's down to only 40 readers yesterday, or 40 page impressions. I think that's what Stats says. I couldn't be bothered to sit and work it out. That's the lowest it's been for 3 or 4 months. But here's the important thing. The important thing is, actually, that fits. Nobody cares. Nobody really wants to read anything. And I kind of want to try and just put things in a slightly more user-friendly way. I don't know, and there's no way of describing. I've been here before. There's no way of describing how it's actually good for you to see that nobody values what you. Well, I don't try to do anything. I only write for one person a year and more now. And she probably doesn't even look at it. So, there you go. Stupid. Absurdist. Living an absurdist paradigm, but not letting it take away from your core personhood. That's the key. Or one key. Even though I'm also a very practical person and know you save money, you have mutual protection, you are taken more seriously if you're speaking about environmentalism, if you're part of a couple and you've got somebody to look after you. No, I've never had anybody to look after me. That's not important. It's like, in fact, it's better to be looking after somebody. You've got to you can relax. If some disaster happens, if I go for a walk today and have my stroke, if you've got somebody who's your helpmate in life, it's like, okay, they'll know where the house key is, they'll know this, they'll know that, they'll know the password to my bank so I can pay for my fucking URLs, I don't know why I keep them going, etc. You relax if you have somebody to trust. It's very good, it's really good for creativity. But no, they all, the 50-somethings of this fucking awful boot, they all, oh no, I know better. As long as I've got my little coven, my clique, they would never admit that that's what they are, my friends, who are all actually, all of their relationships are transactional. Full stop. Oh, my friends, we meet for a cup of tea. But while we're meeting, we might just be discussing, that property over there that's unused. Maybe we could get a grant from the council to run a wellness course in it. And these fucking locals are so illiterate, they're not going to be able to put lovely modern wellness language grant applications in like us. But of course they never say that, but that's the whole, their relationships are transactional, whilst at the same time they entirely perform the exact opposite. Oh, I just have my natural soul tribe of souls. Yeah, this woman I met yesterday, the fucking sisters, the sisterhood, they all turned into self-interested fucking bitches. She said it. And she meant precisely your 50 to 65-year-old age group who's stolen money elsewhere, come recolonize places like this and perform this kind of awful new paradigm that you will see, for example, as I did in the Goose Barn. Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. Con. Fake community. Community based, that is only transactional. This is the absurdism. Based on never actually being open, we are gathering. And there's nothing, I'm not actually saying it's wrong to have groupings of people who are transactional, but to deny that's what their groupings are. to paint them as something entirely different. That makes you ill. That is the perfect definition of this is not authentic. And that makes you ill. If you're honest and say, we gather just to be transactional, fine, nothing wrong with that. Be honest. Everybody knows where the gateposts are. That's the key to life. That's the key. to a quiet soul that a peace, innocentedness and peace. Be honest about where the gateposts are. Anyway, there we go. I know exactly where they are in this whole horrible boot, and I got to get out at some point soon.